Welcome into another Steelers Now post-game. I am Zachary Smith. That is Alan Saunders of Steelers Now. Alan, the fun's over. Pack it up. Season's done. 2026. Hopefully we get a quarterback, but it's over. All the good fortune that was created during last week's preseason game, it has come to a screeching halt, and might as well not even start the season now.
Didn't I tell you in an episode of Steelers Afternoon Drive right before the preseason started, you were like, I'm ready for the preseason. I'm excited for the preseason. And I was like, yeah, like the end of the first quarter of the second preseason game, done, gone. Good feelings over. This sucks. Get it out of here. It's time to do something else.
I have a very hot take that I came away from this game with. Logan Woodside will not be on the roster for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
I feel very confident that Logan Woodside is not going to make the team. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, nothing against him. Hey, he had to jump in onto a moving trade, as Tomlin would like to say, but it did not go well for him. Hey, Redbeard already bring up a guy that I wanted to talk about for sure here in Lou Nichols, but just in general, Alan, this is how we always like to start out these. I need just some general thoughts about the way things went down tonight at Acrisure Stadium.
Yeah, I mean, I think the two man-to-man touchdowns against not the first team defense, but some guys who are going to be regulars on this defense, and Payton Wilson and Brandon Nichols is probably very frustrating to Mike Tomlin. I think the first team offensive line not creating more room in the running game is starting to become concerning. Talked to Troy Fautano a little bit about that.
Okay.
I think individually, a lot of players had nice games. Roman Wilson was really good. Derek Harmon was really good. Caleb Johnson was really good. Mentioned Lou Nichols. I thought Rock Taylor was pretty good. Like a lot of guys that are kind of on the maybe not bubble, but like need to show some stuff did. I also think the team did get a goal line carry. Trey Sermon. I don't know if that tells us. I think they did not look great in like the last drive of the game in terms of their operation. So, I mean, there's sloppiness. It's preseason, but I think this is whereas like we came out of the Jacksonville game with like nearly all positive takeaways. I'm not saying the sky is falling. I just feel like this is much more of a mixed bag.
Yeah, I'll be honest, like for me, more than any like individual performances, I just thought it was a lot like more sloppy, like a lot of pre-snap penalties that we didn't see in the first game, like just start to finish things that weren't happening from a procedural standpoint happened in this one. That I think is easier to look at and just say like that needs to be cleaned up. And I don't know that we spent enough. I know that you briefly brought it up last week against Jacksonville that they played a pretty clean game in that respect. Probably didn't spend enough time talking about it because big difference this week in that regard, in my opinion.
Yeah, some pre-snap penalties, just some like sloppy, some preseason football out there that we didn't see last week. And look, like you said, a lot of these guys are not going to be making the team, so I'm not going to make too much out of a lot of it. But I think you feel better when you play clean about the whole team, and they didn't really tonight. Did get a takeaway, which I liked, but also turned the ball over twice, including once by a guy who should know better, Mason Rudolph, and not a very good throw. Then you have the roughing the kicker penalty on Deshaun Jameson, who is not going to make the team, but like still, that's like the first teams out there, and then you go down and give up 7. I feel like that sequence in particular kind of leaves a bad taste in the aftermath of this one.
You mentioned not going to make the team, but like, that was a guy last week where I mentioned he did some nice things like on special teams as well. And then he did force a fumble in this one too. So, that's certainly a guy that's got a job on the practice squad potentially. But yeah, those are the types of things, you just hate because they're so avoidable. And then of course, very costly with Tampa Bay scoring a touchdown there shortly after. People in the comments mentioned too, like, I mean, Payton Wilson's kind of like he's in position to make that play.
He's right there.
Like more often than not,
he's right there.
One that he would make. Yeah.
Yeah, he's got to make a play on that ball. Should be an interception. He's literally right there. He ran the route for him. I don't know what happened. He couldn't track the ball in the air or what, but Yeah, I mean he's in good position. Can't come down with it. Eccles is in pretty good position on Ibuka, who frankly to me just made an unbelievable catch. I don't necessarily put that as much on him as I do Eccles, or on Eccles as I do him, but still twice to be down there and to be in man coverage and to get beat after the things I've said about the secondary, after things Payton Wilson said himself, I think that's pretty frustrating.
We'll certainly get to what the comments want to talk about in terms of like individual things here, but Ben's kind of stuck out to me right away because he mentioned Logan Lee's versatility. I do think you have to give him a tip of the cap there for stepping in and being the long snapper there, but my mind didn't go there originally, just like to the fact that in these settings, the big thing, obviously not the wins and losses, you just want to get out of them clean, and they weren't able to tonight. Some injuries taking place, and just kind of wondering if we have any type of word from Tomlin or anybody in terms of what types of injuries we're looking at, how they feel about them. And obviously I think if Christian Kuntz is going to be down for a period of time, despite what Logan Lee showed tonight, you would think that they want an actual go out and get a long snapper, right?
So Christian Kuntz has what was called a chest injury. I was told he was taken to somewhere, I guess the hospital for some I don't know what the right word is, to get a diagnosis. Mike Tomlin shared that as positive news. So, okay. I mean, I would say that, like, given what you're looking at with him holding this part of his chest, broken collarbone, torn pec, like those are like season killers. Maybe not necessarily season ending, but like gonna rob you of a big chunk of your season kind of injuries. So if it's not that, that's a really good sign. I still think the Steelers should probably be preparing to do business without Christian Kuntz in the short term. I thought Logan Lee did all right. I talked to Cam Johnson a little bit after. He said he did really good. He's practiced it before. Logan said he's done it all the way back to high school. So I kind of thought Logan Lee was on the roster bubble. Like, to me, he's the seventh defensive lineman. The question is whether they keep seven or not. I think coming into this game, my answer would have been no. I don't know. I thought it looked okay back there. We'll see. If it's just a short-term absence, maybe you can get by with Logan Lee. Maybe I tell you this much: if he can snap the ball, which is a big if, okay, Logan Lee covering punts is a weapon. Like, you get 91 running down there. That's a game changer. So, I mean, we'll see. I would not completely dismiss the idea of Logan Lee filling in for a short term. Obviously, if Kuntz is like out for the season or something, they're just going to go sign another long snapper.
Yeah. Yeah, Steelers Nation 43. Not necessarily the exact same idea. Like, they were saying about why even have Kuntz if Logan Lee's able to do the job because he gives you another defensive lineman as well. But, some of that was within your idea there in terms of you have another defensive lineman, but not necessarily like if Christian Kuntz is healthy and able to go, he's obviously going to be the guy that they use in that spot. I don't think that they're going to look to replace him with Logan Lee just because Logan Lee can do another job as well.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't think Christian Kuntz, they're like looking to replace him. I think they're very happy with it. He's got a big contract extension for a long snapper. They're very happy with the job he's done.
Anyways, I want to get back to the top here. I know there's more comments coming
in. Did I finish the injuries? Nick Herbig, hamstring. Doesn't seem like it's major, although given it's a short week, almost certainly I would think rules him out of the last preseason game. And you're kind of crossing your fingers. Even in the best case scenario, you're still got your fingers crossed that everything goes well between now and the season opener there. With those hamstrings, they can linger. They're very easy to re-injure. So, kind of going to be holding your breath about Nick Herbig being ready for week 1 in New York. At the best case scenario, which it did, Mike Tomlin did kind of give a positive update, so that's a good thing. And then Gareth Warren in the concussion protocol got smashed in the head on that interception return at the end of the game. Saw him in the locker room, and it's not like it's anything crazy. We'll see where that leads. And Gareth probably not making the team either. So, looking for a spot on the practice squad. That probably won't stop him from getting there.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the only thing that stinks is obviously like in that third preseason game, a lot of meaningful reps to be had for those type of players.
They played this game with 11 offensive linemen, and assuming he's out next week, that would make 10. Like, that's pretty much the minimum you can go into one of these deals with. So I don't know, may see some roster moves there before Thursday. Tough spot to get signed on Monday and play on Thursday, but it may be the situation somebody's in.
Yeah, for sure. There's a lot of comments coming in at this point, so we appreciate everybody being here. Be sure to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. By the way, if you have not already and you are here in the live chat, appreciate you being here. But I mentioned Lou Nichols. Redbeard brought him up right off the jump, maybe actually before we even officially started rolling with this thing here. But Lou Nichols is a guy that we've talked about quite a bit on here, probably as much as you could talk about a guy that, has been here for less than a month. But once again, showed some flash in this one, broke off another long run, just continues to make the most of his opportunities. Redbeard asked about him making the 53. Obviously, you can chime in on that idea. But I feel like, at the very least, he's pushing Trey Sermon for who's going to be that RB4, and maybe they put both on the practice squad.
Well, I don't think Trey Sermon's a lock to get to the practice squad. I mean, he's a guy who's got a lot of NFL experience. So, maybe there's a 53-man spot for him somewhere else if it's not in Pittsburgh. I don't think that's crazy. I thought he looked strong when out there. Also made a nice special teams play. But Lou Nichols, man, he just keeps showing up. I asked him, he gets cut by the Eagles this summer, sitting at home doing nothing, waiting for an opportunity. And I talked to him after the game today. I asked him, what's the thing that was going through your mind? Like, if I get another shot, this is what I have to do. This is what I have to show them. And he said it was just explosiveness. He said, I got to show him I can make a big play. 37 yards today from Lou Nichols, ripped one off. Like, I think he showed that. I have questions about the total package. I haven't seen a lot on special teams. I haven't seen a lot of pass pro, but dude can run, man. I don't know. I think the Steelers found something there to work with. We'll see how it goes. I would be trying to find a way to get him on the practice squad, though. Absolutely.
Yeah. I honestly, I don't know. I mentioned to you before we start recording here, I haven't gotten much sleep. I wasn't even thinking about the idea of hey, somebody else could sign one of these guys when you try to put them on the practice squad. So, yeah, we'll see.
I wouldn't worry about Lou Nichols getting poached necessarily, but Trey Sermon, the guy was a pretty high draft pick, lots of NFL experience. I think that feels like something that could happen.
Robert, impressed with the D-line at this point, said it looked very good. I think, what you saw tonight out of Derek Harmon, very encouraging. He not that he was bad in the first game or anything. He had a couple plays where he was getting some pressure, but you were looking for that big splash. He gets a sack in this one, had a tackle for loss the play right before that. So certainly what you wanted to see out of the high pick, and you haven't even seen everybody that's going to be part of that defensive line yet. So certainly encouraging there. Yeah,
the defensive line looked great. Tampa didn't have a lot of running room. Got it down a pass, Keenan and Benton. Harmon with a huge sack. Just a absolutely give me your lunch money and get out of the way, bull rush, which is not even necessarily what I would call his best. I think he has better moves. The long arm is kind of what he normally goes with. I think he can really appreciate it as always. Gateway Clipper. I think he can really become a disruptor at defensive tackle. I thought Wyatt Black looked good when he got in there. I thought Logan Lee looked good when he was in there. I thought Dan Ekwale was really good. It's a deep. Isaiah Loudermilk's been very solid. It's a very deep defensive line, and like you said, haven't even seen 97 yet. He's going to be the leader of it, and so should be very excited about the Steelers' defensive line right now.
Bucky Irvin, we talked about the receiving touchdown that he had, but he had nowhere to run. I mean, and that's a very good running back, very talented dude. So yeah, certainly tip of the cap to the defensive line, and just not just in this game, just the way they've looked in general. But Ben Cohen mentions another guy here that made a big play. Eku Leota on the turnover on downs made a really nice play. What do you make of obviously getting more opportunity with Herbig with the hamstring thing he's dealing with? No TJ, no Highsmith. Not again somebody that I think is necessarily pushing for a 53 spot here. Do you think he's a practice squad guy? Would you consider him a lock for that, or is he even kind of on the bubble for that?
See what happens with DeMarvin Leal. I mean, I think I would put him behind Leal. I'm not sure. Again, I don't think you get Leal to the practice squad. And if I'm DeMarvin Leal and I get cut, I'm trying to find a different practice squad to get to. With all due respect, I don't want to sit on Pittsburgh's. So yeah, then I think Eku does. I mean, he was on the practice squad last year. He was around. I think he has good instincts. It's not like the world's craziest athlete for an edge rusher, It just seems like a smart guy, knows his job, knows his role. So those are like the kind of players you want on your practice squad. Good guy to sharpen your offensive line with every day. I think he's got a little bit of juice in terms of like some pass rush moves. So, yeah, I mean, I think he's been fine. I always, I have a real hard time evaluating like fourth quarter preseason stuff because I don't know enough about the guys at the bottom of the Tampa Bay roster to know like what kind of competition he's going up against. Somebody that like next week, if the Steelers sign some tackle off the street and then he plays the whole fourth quarter and some Carolina Panthers third stringer gets 4 sacks against them, their fan base will be like, oh my God, they got the next practice squad demon. And we're like, yeah, you just beat Tim's uncle who was laying around in the parking lot and we threw him out there. So, like,
right.
I think everything I said about Eku is true regardless of what he did today. I'm not necessarily like a guy I know that well. I'm not learning a whole lot about some fourth quarter preseason stuff. Guys like Lou Nichols that are new to the team, I think it's a little bit different.
Sure. Absolutely. Omars Burner looking for your assessment of the offensive line play this evening. Obviously a major question mark that'll be a deciding factor with the team's success this year.
Solid. I think they can be better again in the run. I'm shocked that that's the thing that I have more to say about because I would have bet a lot of money it would be the opposite. And I think their pedigree individually as run blockers suggests that it will be better. And so if they get there, that's a really good sign.
Brandon Johnson caught a touchdown in this game.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if his
we were just talking about him.
Assumed, yeah. I believe there's a family member that watches or listens to this show. I don't know if they're in the live chat right now. But just know we are mentioning Brandon Johnson on this show right now.
There you go.
For his touchdown.
We talked about him a couple
times in this game. Yeah.
I tell you what, not too many guys score a touchdown, then go down and make the tackle on the kickoff.
Yes.
When you do that, to me, I'm like, oh, dog, like that's it. Like that gets me going. Brandon Johnson's a good player.
Mm-hmm.
He started this game, by the way. Played. I'll tell you what. Everybody's in love with Rock Taylor, and I am intrigued by Rock Taylor as well. Probably not the level that the fan base seems to be, but Brandon Johnson played ahead of Rock Taylor and ahead of Robert Woods in this game. So I don't know. Maybe they aren't writing him off. Maybe there's a chance there. Again, he started in OTAs too when DK wasn't here, and then seemed like just fell into the abyss of the wide receiver room, and I don't know. Now he's back. Robert Woods out there with like 5 minutes left in the game.
Yeah.
Yeesh.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't seen a whole lot from 16 that makes me think I'd want him on the team. Not to say that like the rest of the wide receiver room is like just playing so good that you can't hold him down. But yeah, I think that should tell a lot of the story there with Robert Woods, just when he got into that game.
Let's talk about wide receivers for a second. Not only because my guy Alec has a question about them, but I want to run something by you as well as the people in the live chat here. So right now, don't know how many people currently in here watch the current WWE product, but the Rock character is called the Final Boss. So I was thinking about starting to call Rock Taylor the Final Quarter Boss.
Final quarter boss. If he would have caught that touchdown, then I would be on board. And he should have, even though it was a bit long. Give me some extension, Rock.
Yeah, it kind of looked like, I was just saying, it seemed like he almost like pulled his hands weren't fully extended. His arms weren't fully extended. Yeah. He like pulled in a little bit. A little bit of alligator.
I mean, if you dive and you drop it, I don't care. I just want to see you. I want to see you try. That's from not tracking the ball well enough in the air. Wasn't ready to fully extend when the ball got there. But I'm not dishing on Logan Woodside here. Not a great throw either. Could have been better.
Well, I would have rather have watched one of the other quarterbacks throw with the other hand, I think, than watch Logan Woodside. Honestly, I would have even been passing.
Yeah.
I mentioned the reason I brought up the wide receivers to begin with, though. Alex said, "Do you guys think the Steelers will keep 5 or 6 in the wide receiver room?" Something tells me they could use, or something feels like they could use 6 this year. With
I
the
feel like in
roster,
general,
it's tough to say 6 for me. But
I feel like in general, like the positions where you're not very deep, you don't want more of them.
yeah,
Maybe I would say 6 only if they add one.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. So
That's
I think you get 5 out of the current roster, and the 6th being an outside addition.
Yeah, okay, I'm on board with that. And my 5 are DK, Calvin, Roman, Skoranek, Scotty Miller. Although Skoranek didn't play today,
Yeah,
I believe banged up. Don't know the status of that. Wasn't in Tomlin's injury update. Saw him walking around on the field pregame. Wasn't like on crutches or in an arm brace or something noticeably wrong. So maybe it's minor. I don't know.
Yeah, I should have threw a text your way prior to recording, going to live here about something, but we can talk about it afterwards.
Forget it.
But anyways, I saw you throw out there on Twitter about the Patriots room when it comes to wide receivers. If they really like that UDFA that they got, there's like 8 guys that could potentially fill out that roster. Oh, there it is. Right
After Chisholm.
That could fill out that wide receiver room. So they're not going to keep 8 wide receivers on that roster. So there's certainly
I tweeted 9 names that I feel like all could make the team. Now Jalen Polk's hurt, so maybe you can stash him on the injured reserve, and you still got 8. Not going to keep 8. The thing is, I think it all depends on what the Patriots want to do and who's left. Like the Steelers really need another outside guy, like Scotty Miller inside. Skoranek even though he's big, probably like best fit as a big slot, right? Like, so it needs to be like Booty or Bourne or somebody who can be on the outside. Pop Douglas doesn't do much for the Steelers. They already have Calvin Austin. So I think it just depends on which way the Patriots want to go, and then see if there's a fit there. And then also comparing that to what are the Chiefs doing? What are the Texans doing? What are the name another team with a surplus of wide receivers doing?
I don't know if we can say the Packers right now. So
the Packers were the team, but they're dropping like flies.
The Packers might be watching the Patriots to see what they do.
At this point.
I don't know if I would use Dream here. Omars Burner. Carson Beck, you are a Steeler 1 more year until the Dream. Dream would not be the word that I'm using in terms of Carson Beck becoming a Steeler, but to each their own.
Omar, it's the preseason. Pace yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, and also, what are we doing giving away plans, Omar? Come on, this is terrible. 2-catch overreaction, Roman Wilson on the up.
No, Roman Wilson is on the up. He had a great game last week. First one, intercepted, should have been a touchdown. Second one, long play, should have been a touchdown. Mason underthrew him twice. He was open deep, and he was playing outside. This is the thing that we said Roman Wilson hasn't shown, right? That's the thing that when you put on the tape from Michigan is not there. Go outside against the press coverage and beat it. And he's doing it, and it's awesome. No, not an overreaction. I'm not saying that, oh, my God, Roman Wilson's going to be a Pro Bowler now, but it's a big step forward for him to go fill holes in his resume in the preseason. Absolutely.
And I think, too, we can talk about it happening in practice as much as we want, and that's great. But, doing it in a stadium.
And it hasn't really been happening that much in practices. He's been better in the preseason games than he has been at training camp.
Okay. All right. All right. Well, that's obviously important stuff there. I wanted to give Artie a cap tip on that as well, because I think that it's still kind of going along with that while giving Roman credit for what he's doing. I still think very apparent what his skill set is and what he's good at. And I just think right now they're doing a good job at highlighting what that is. And like you said, tonight could have been an even bigger night for Roman if it wasn't for a couple underthrown balls from Mason. So certainly tip of the cap there from me. Steven mentioned James Pierre, said he's been playing great on defense. Do you think he takes the spot of a Beanie Bishop?
I saw Steven. The name is Stephen Cooper, and I just read it as Stephen Cropper, and I was like, the Channel 11 weather. What's he doing right now?
Hey, he's a big postgame guy.
Yeah. James Pierre has been playing great. Yeah, James Pierre's on this team. I think starting punt gunner, quality depth. I'm not sure it's at the expense of Beanie Bishop though. We'll see. I mean, as of right now, I think corners 1, 2, 3, 4 are Ramsey, Slay, Porter, Eccles, and Pierre's 5. There will probably be 6, and I don't have anyone else ahead of Beanie Bishop as 6 right now.
Okay. Something else. Another player I wanted to bring up to get your evaluation on, just how you thought in real time, was Jack Sawyer, because he had one really nice rep where he beat somebody, and it looked like he was going to potentially get a sack there, but that was kind of it. So, like, we saw the flash that we didn't see last week for that one rep, but not noticeable, at least for me, watching in real time outside of that, and I was wondering what you thought.
Yeah, I mean, against the run, again, looked good. Talked about guys not having anywhere to go, especially with the first team. Thought he was a big part of that. The play where DeMarvin Leal kind of choked out Bucky Irving.
Mm-hmm.
You know who assists the tackle? Sawyer from the other edge. So Leal stands him up, and then Sawyer is the one that gets to him next to bring him down. That is the front 7 player, the farthest away from DeMarvin Leal when they line up. He's the second guy to the tackle. He's really good against the run. And he's big and strong and fast enough looking. I'm just not sure there's enough of a pass rush plan or move set right now to make an impact in that area. I think he's got some real growing to do. But, like, they don't need him to do that anyway. They got 3 guys on this team that are better than him at that. If he can just be the run backup to Herbig's pass backup, great. And he's done really well at that. So, I mean, long term, you use a 4th-round pick on a guy. I think you'd like him to develop into a well-rounded player. But for 2025, I feel like he has a role and he's going to be okay at it. While I would, when you watch him play a full preseason game, you see some warts there because he's not a well-rounded player yet.
I guess my question becomes, okay, so you got Herbig dealing with his hamstring now, and hopefully it's not significant or anything like that. Again, he was on the field and stuff afterwards, but he was kind of like just working his way back anyway from something else that was going on, and the soft tissue things have kind of been piling. Like, Alex Highsmith hasn't been the healthiest dude as of late. TJ has missed 3 seasons in a row at the end of the year, hasn't made as much of an impact or been hurt. If one of those guys does go down because of what you're saying, does he have the ability to step in and offer more than just being a run stopping edge?
Probably not right this second, but I think he has the tool. Like, he has the ingredients. You just got to work on putting it together.
Yeah, that's why I wish I would have gotten a better answer out of him when I asked him about the pass rush plan, as opposed to just, hey, we have really good guys here to learn from. But
yeah.
It is what it is. We actually got a couple questions regarding Sawyer right after that, but Mike asked about somebody else we haven't talked about on this specific show, but Juan Thornhill, who we've certainly mentioned a bunch over the summer, said thoughts on Juan Thornhill. Seems like he's just a guy that makes plays. Think he's been really good. Seems to be very happy to be out of Cleveland.
Oh, there's no question happy to be out of Cleveland. There's another question about Thornhill in here too, and now I've lost it. I was going to try to put them both together. Oh, here we go. Gina. What's Thornhill's player profile? Is he more of a deep safety? He's flashed in both these games now with big hits. I feel like Thornhill is a pretty solid hybrid safety. He can play either position in a too-high scheme. He's not going to be that, like, big in-the-box safety that really, like, only certain teams like the Steelers even want anymore. He's not going to be Deshaun Elliott, but I think he can be he can play strong safety. He can play free safety. He's not the world's rangiest free safety. I don't think he has, like, crazy range back there. Probably not as much range as Minka had, but a very strong hitter, very solid tackler. I would say a willing tackler. Like, he'll go throw himself in there. Maybe not necessarily like the most perfect form all the time, but, like, he's gonna come flying in and try to deliver a blow, and plays with an edge and an aggressiveness that I think really just fits the Steelers defense to a T. I think that's the biggest thing about him that I like, is that he just feels like a Steeler. You hear him talking back there already. And he just hates the Cleveland Browns. and this whole city of Cleveland, and probably the whole state of Ohio, with a passion I think everyone in the city can relate to.
Yeah, I don't think that that's just like I came to Pittsburgh, so I know that this would endear me to the fan base. I think he could have gone anywhere else.
So he might have come to Pittsburgh because of how much he. Oh, I'm a free agent. Bet Steelers.
Who wants me? Baltimore, Pittsburgh, or Cincinnati? Which one of you three?
Right.
Exactly. Their free contract right now. If I would have started, going back to the end of last season, a list of things that I'm not worried about this season, I think near the top of the list to me would have been Zack Frasier, and overall he's still near the top of that list. However, the snaps have been a little erratic from time to time. Mm-hmm. Is that something that we should be concerned about, or have you asked any questions regarding what might be going on in that regard, like why this is happening?
Talked to him about it in training camp early on, and he kind of said he wasn't sure why it was happening. It's something that was occasionally an issue at West Virginia too.
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to bother me until it becomes a big problem. I mean, Marquise Pouncey had problems with the snaps. We're talking about him as a Hall of Famer.
Sure.
As long as you're not turning the ball over a whole bunch, I can kind of deal with the occasional low one.
And obviously the good outweighs the bad. It's just something I don't know that I expected to see be an issue.
Yeah, it was on the tape at West Virginia a little bit. Like, you can see it from time to time. I think it's something that's pretty easy to get better at. It's way better than other issues, right? Like, couldn't pass block, that'd be a big deal. You can work on snapping. I'm not overly concerned about it.
I'm concerned about Branson's sloppy seconds in the comments right now, because he said I got a fun one, and based off that being their username, I'm a little bit worried as to what's going to follow this up in his next message. However, Gino, I don't even know if this was supposed to be funny, but it got a little bit of a pop from me if you're watching on YouTube and saw me giggle. Did Logan Lee Loki have a better day snapping than Zack Frazer?
I don't think they were all great. I didn't have a stopwatch on them. No, probably not. But if you didn't fumble any, you didn't have that bad of a night.
To me, this is kind of the conversation we had about, I'm not saying he's been the best player, but if you're trying to say in terms of expectation to where he's been, talked about Brandon Nichols being the most impressive. If you talk about expectation for snaps here, I think Logan Lee had the more impressive day.
Yeah, for sure.
Ryan, I know, was a little bit late here. I don't know if he's still in here, but he was asking about the play of Derek Harmon and Kalen Johnson. We talked about Derek Harmon. We talked about the defensive line as a whole, and him flashing this week a little bit more than last. He was good last week, but this week he obviously had the sack and TFL. Caleb Johnson, I thought, definitely seemed like big stride taken for him, just in terms of the pace of play. He talked about the speed of the game, obviously being something he needed to adjust to. You saw him rip off a couple, and he seems like the type of runner to me, at least, Alan, and you can speak to this, where it's like volume is kind of king. Like, the more carries he gets, the better he gets, and he's kind of has to be in the moment, and it's going to take 3 carries to 4 carries, and they just keep stacking, and he gets better as that happens.
Smitty, were you in my interview with Caleb Johnson in the locker room right now, and I just didn't know about it?
If you're watching on YouTube, you can see that I'm a bit sweaty right now. It's not because I'm sunburnt and very tired. I had to run back to Acrisure Stadium, to get back to my computer to do this. So, yes,
that's exactly what Caleb Johnson said. He's like, I just need some reps, some volume, to get winded, to go out there and feel it a little bit. He said, I've always been a high volume guy. I feel like the more I get the ball, the better I am. You saw it on the one drive where I think he had 6 carries for 38 yards on either side of that Max Hurleman punt muff recovery that led to the Trey Sermon touchdown. I think almost every, I think that was a 60-yard drive, and 40 of them were Caleb Johnson. That's, I understand he didn't look great against the Jaguars, but I think the reaction of some parts of the fan base has just been absurd. No, he forgot how to play running back. He's still really good. Just give him some time. People don't understand how much rookies got to learn at this level. There's a lot. It's not always the smoothest transition.
Yeah, that was nicer wording than you've used in the past. I think last year at one point you just told me rookies stink. So
at this point, they don't all stink. At the rookie camp stage, rookies stink. Yes, they do. They're awful. They have no idea what they're doing. They're just terrible. Terrible. It never fails every year. You got like a whole bunch of rookies you're excited to see. You get to rookie camp, and there's some guy that is just awful, who like barely made it back onto the 90-man roster from the year before, that is just sunning the first-round draft pick. You're like, what's happening here? Oh, right, yeah, no, it's that they start out awful and they get a lot better over the course of their first year usually, and year one and year two, and patience.
Mike also has a bold prediction for us. We talked about that earlier in this week, but his prediction: Zack Frasier, first team All-Pro this year.
It's going to be tough with Creed.
Mm-hmm.
And they only have one
Linderbaum's a pretty good one, but
Linderbaum. Yeah. I think if he just gets to All-Pro, that's really good. That's like an incredibly good year. I think more likely second team. No, I don't even know if second team's likely. Pro Bowl alternate. That's where we're going. He should have been a Pro Bowl alternate last year. He got gypped.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe, yeah. Pro Bowl after one of those two guys goes to the Super Bowl.
Hey. Yeah. Mike, bring up a name that I know you mentioned. We talked about the defensive line, but haven't talked a whole lot about in general. Daniel Ekuale. Really like this signing. He's been good against the run. What are your thoughts on him overall through camp and 2 preseason games?
Quiet, but not in a bad way. Doing a lot of two-gapping, learning to play nose tackle, which he's never really done before. Steelers have had some success putting guys with sort of his pedigree into that spot. They did it with Kimo von Oelhoffen a long time ago. They did it with Tyson Alualu not that long ago, where it's like guys who mostly played 3-tech at other places, moving them into nose tackle. Maybe not necessarily the biggest guys, but just guys who have the sort of right balance of power and technique. Really surprised we haven't seen Wyatt Black at nose tackle yet. I talked to him today about it. He just kind of threw his hands up like, I'm just doing what I'm told. But I think that's coming eventually. But the for now plan seems all right because Dan Ekuale has done a nice job.
I know last week we went for 40 minutes. We'll try to go around there. So just if you have any last minute ones, make sure you get them in so I can put them in here. Hollywood 931 said, do you guys think the O-line will be one of the better ones? They have looked fairly good, in my opinion.
I'm not sure I'm ready to go that far yet. I think they'll be above average.
Do you think, I mean, I've brought this up for sure in a conversation with DB, but I don't know if you and I have had this conversation on here. If we did, DB was definitely also on here, so it could have been on Friday. But like in terms of the difference of what they could be, like the floor to ceiling, this group to me is amongst the largest, like not just on the Steelers, but anyway.
Yeah, we've talked about that.
Yeah, I think that we could be talking about like a top 10 to 12 unit, or we could be talking about a group that needs to turn over like multiple spots and not just because of Samala potentially retiring.
Yeah, no, I think that's a good call. They're probably the unit that has the biggest delta between the top of the upside and the bottom of the floor, for sure. They could be really good. Like, I'm not saying that's not possible. I'm just not saying I'm predicting it at this point.
Sure. Did you throw up this one from Branson here?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
I want to get to this one. If there's another one you want to get to first, that's fine. But I want to get to
No, that's fine. Yeah, that one was before the others. So do you guys think that we would get a look at anyone that hasn't played yet in this last game?
Yes. I think we'll see almost everyone, except for like TJ and Aaron. Ramsey, Slay. But like, I think we'll see a lot of starters next week.
Not only
at least for a drive. I think you might see all of them.
I was just say not only ones that like we haven't seen yet, but to your point, we might sign some guys like off the street.
Yeah.
Later on. So you could get like both ends of the spectrum there.
Yeah. And Ryan McCollum and Joey Porter both feel like they're very close. Both were limited participants in practice Thursday. So like not out of the question that those guys could get healthy enough to play between now and then also.
Did you I don't know if you've like had a conversation with him at all, and is McCollum still wearing that sleeve just because of the injury, or is he going to play with that as well?
Oh, I don't know. Those sleeves, guys like just wear them forever a lot of the time. Like Troy's still wearing one on his too.
Yeah. Okay.
I think a lot of guys just wear those.
Got to get to Owens because of the wording here, and I appreciate it. Thought about punting this question until next week, but is Weightman out punting Cam Johnston?
I mean, maybe if you look at the stats, Weightman had one that didn't get caught today that went for like another 20 yards. So,
Yeah.
like I've said all along, I don't think this is a real competition. I think the competition is Cam Johnson as good as he used to be? If the answer is yes, then it's his job. He is more expensive, but the Steelers don't need the cap space for anything. So, like, that's not a reason not to keep him. So, I feel like this is just I'm not really sure how legit of a competition it is. Mike Tomlin's making it seem like one. I feel like this is just Cam Johnson's job, to be honest.
Yeah, we've talked about that and feeling like it, but certainly, like I know that I say this every time, but I feel like I got to keep saying it. I just really like.
Willis Weightman's a top 32 punter in the world, no question.
This absolutely should be where we end it because finally Max Hurleman got brought up in this live chat. Weirdly getting Isaac Redman level Camp Hero vibes with Hurleman. Does he have a shot? Says LJ.
Probably needs a bunch of stuff to happen that I don't think is very likely. I think he's a lock for the practice squad. I think I'd love to get him there. He just makes plays, man. He forced a fumble on the interception return. I think so. He gets the recovery on the muff punt. He just makes plays. He's a football player.
Yeah.
I don't think he makes the 53, but I'm not writing him off either.
All right. So I said that was honestly the last thing that I want to bring up because he blew up a play in the backfield as well. Cole Hulcom tonight. I don't know. I mentioned this. I don't want to make too much of this, but I just think it's like awesome that the dude's even playing football. Like when I saw him last week, just moving around in space, the fact that he threw on a uniform, I like almost got emotional. Just the fact that he's back on a football field, like because of hearing Cam Hayward talk about it on his podcast. I guess like, I don't know. I wasn't putting into perspective how close he might have been to just retiring and how many guys in his position might have done so. So to me, it's just awesome that this dude is even still playing this game.
Yeah, Cole's great, man. I think he's really embraced the challenge of coming out and reproving himself. I think he looks stronger. And like, okay, major knee surgery, like also not 23 years old anymore. Like speed's probably not going to come back the way it was. Okay, what do you do about it? Well, look, there's lots of ways you can play linebacker. Go hit people harder. And like, I just think that's a guy who's really proving how much he loves football. And I think that gets you a heck of a lot of credit in the locker room. You still got to go play. It doesn't matter at the end of the day, but I think he's playing more than well enough to be on this team.
Yeah, absolutely.
On another team, would be talking about him starting. If it was the Steelers linebackers room of 3.5, 4 years ago, he would be.
Yeah. Yeah. And I don't want to, again, like make it seem like he's not also playing well. That's just like the cherry on top of it. That is that he also looks really good. And Mike pointed that out as well. Not only that he looks really good. Also, Branson, I'm not going to put your comment up on the screen. You're absolutely ridiculous, but 6.9 on the 1 to 10 scale, just because. Anyways, we will get out of here. Appreciate everybody that was part of this live chat. Alan, tell the people they can find you.
Saunders_PGH on X, Instagram, TikTok, and Blue Sky PGH Steelers Now. Let's count SteelersNow.com. Go there, read the words, all kinds of stuff coming out from me. I had Brendan Howe and Chris Ward here with me tonight. They are cranking out the content. So like DB's Dudes and Duds is already up. All their stuff is coming out. We're gonna have a story on Roman Wilson, story on Logan Lee, story on Kalen Johnson, story on someone else. I forget. So many. And then I'll have my big takeaways article come out at the end of the night or first thing in the morning. And then, man, we're getting down to it, Smitty. We're getting down to it. Yeah. I can smell the regular season from here. Maybe that's just the Mon. I don't know.
They smell very similar. Yeah. All right, good stuff. Again, appreciate everybody that was here. If you haven't yet, on your way out, be sure to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. We are also posting these on all the audio platforms, so leave us a 5-star review and subscribe if you have not done so already. We'll read any comments or questions from there that we get also through all the content that we do on the channel, morning rush, afternoon drive, whenever we get to it. We appreciate you guys in this growing audience, which sits at We don't always do this on here, but 16,467. We are up 467 subscribers in the last month. That's awesome. You guys are awesome. Appreciate you. Find me everywhere, Zachary Smith, PGH. For Saunders and myself, this has been another Steelers Now post game. We'll see you next time.